Bold and the Beautiful, Hope and Liam's huge post-wedding plans, baby bombshell and steamy future ahead. Bold and the Beautiful gives Hope Logan, Annika Noel, and Liam Spencer, Scott Clifton, officially remarried this week, and that has us wondering what is next for the newlyweds. We're going to talk about big plans for Hope and Liam as they start the rest of their lives together. Bold and the Beautiful, Hope and Liam officially married. All right. So, Hope and Liam say I do on Thursday, and on Friday, we have their wedding reception. It was all so sweet. Deacon Sharp, Sean Cannon, walked Hope down the aisle, and Beth officiated her parents' ceremony. Dee was there, Will Spencer, Crew Morrow, was there. We had lots of sibling action, nieces, all that stuff. And Douglas Forrester, Henry Joseph Samory, was there. Unfortunately, it seems that psycho Sheila Carter, Kimberlyn Brown, is still with Taylor Hayes, Rebecca Budig, which kept her away from the wedding ceremony. After so much drama and a really rough road, Hope and Liam have finally found their way back to each other. They've both done a lot of growing, changing, and maturing, and they plan to make it last forever this time. So, with Hope and Liam officially man and wife this week, what is next? Let's dive in and see. A fresh start, why a new home is a must for Hope and Liam on BNB. The first thing at the top of Hope's and Liam's to-do list, in my mind, is to get a real house and get out of that tiny little cramped cabin. It's cute, but it's not even really a starter home. It's more like Hope is living in the childhood playhouse that her mom had built on her estate at this point. I really think Liam and Hope should get off Brooke Logan's, Catherine Kelly Lang, property and go live on their own like grown-ups. Of course, there was the lure of built-in babysitters there, but Hope's kids are older. I mean, heck, Douglas isn't even in the country, and Beth doesn't need a full-time caregiver. That means they need more room, especially because Liam's daughter, Kelly Spencer, Sophia Pars McKinley, is visiting all the time. It would be a nice fresh start for Liam and Hope to get their own place. While Liam and Hope do have some good memories in that cabin, I think overwhelmingly they probably have more painful ones. That's where they fought over Thomas Forrester, Matthew Atkinson, and where they fought over Steffi Forrester, Jacqueline McInnes Wood, and where their marriage blew up last time in a huge way. So, why not get a fresh start in a new place? Expanding their family, will a new baby be next for Lope? The second thing Liam and Hope may do is start some baby-making plans. And if they do, that's one more reason that they need to get a place of their own with room for a nursery. Liam and Hope already have little Beth together, and of course, Liam has Kelly with Steffi, and Hope has her adopted son, Douglas, with Thomas. But Liam and Hope may want to expand their family. Plus, actress Annika Noel, who plays Hope Logan, got married a couple of months ago, and if she turns up pregnant, they may write it into Hope's and Liam's story. Annika had been trying to have a kid and then she did get pregnant. I don't know if you knew the news, but she had a miscarriage, which is just so sad. Our hearts go out to her, obviously. But I'm assuming that she and her husband are wanting to start a family, and that may come into play because it's always easier to write the pregnancy and than to hide the actress behind things. There's no reason that Hope and Liam can't have another child as part of their storyline. They're young, they're in love, the future's wide open. Plus, they both love kids. So maybe Hope and Liam expand their family, especially because they've been given another chance at love and a life together. Hope was terrified during Liam's fake cancer scare and then his real shooting scare, so them having a new baby could be very life-affirming as well. Bringing Douglas home on Bold and the Beautiful, a custody shakeup in Los Angeles? That leads to the third thing. Hope may ask Thomas if she can have Douglas with her in Los Angeles, if not full-time, then at least for part of the year. Now that he's older, Hope and Thomas could split the year. Douglas could be 6 months in Paris and 6 months in LA. He did lived with Hope and Liam before, so it wouldn't be something new. Thomas even said recently that he doesn't spend that much time with Douglas because the kid's off doing his own thing with friends. I mean, he's not really old enough for that to be the case. That doesn't seem like solid parenting right there. Plus, I'm sure Beth probably misses her big brother Douglas, and the rest of the Forresters and the Logans miss him too, but especially Hope and Liam, Scott Clifton. He has a great relationship with Douglas. He was basically co-raising him with Hope when Thomas was flaking out, not being a great dad. So, maybe Hope can talk Thomas into letting Douglas spend more time in Los Angeles. And that's yet another reason to get a bigger place to live because these kids are getting bigger. They need more elbow room. Family feuds and matchmaking, dealing with Deacon, Sheila, Bill, and Katie on BNB. Next on our wish list, I think with the wedding done and Sheila making such a stink about not being invited, Hope may amp up conspiring with her brother Deke Sharp, Harrison Cohn, to try and get their dad Deacon to ditch his crazy wife, Sheila. It is no secret that Hope and Deacon do not want their dad with Sheila. And those feelings will intensify if she turns up and crashes their wedding reception. Hopefully, she's going to stay busy complaining to Taylor at her office, and Sheila won't show up. But if she does, it's going to be a big deal. In terms of meddling on Liam's side of the family, he and Hope may start pressing Bill Spencer, Don Diamont, to put a ring on Katie Logan's, Heather Tom, finger and get their happily ever after, too. Hope may also start dropping hints to Katie that it'd be great to see her aunt settled down with Bill, so all the Logan ladies will have their happily ever after hunks. A new fashion house rivalry, will Hope join a Forrester Creations competitor on Bold? Last on the list, but certainly not least, is that Hope may help out with a new scheme. We suspect that Eric Forrester, John McCook, is going to start a rival fashion house, and Hope might work with them because I suspect her father-in-law, Bill, may be an investor. So Liam may be involved with it and her Aunt Katie as well since she's likely leaving Forrester Creations soon. They might even lure Ivy Forrester, Ashley Brewer, to the rival house because she loves her Uncle Eric, John McCook, so much. And if Electra Forrester, Linnea Grace, followed Ivy, then Will would follow his mom and his girlfriend over there. I could see Hope consulting on the startup fashion house. Liam and Eric might even entice Hope to bring Hope for the future over to the new house. Brad Bell did an interview this summer saying there is a fashion house rival storyline coming to Bold and the Beautiful, and the groundwork was just laid with Eric being forced into retirement. So Hope and Liam might be instrumental in getting this rival fashion house set up. Bold and the Beautiful, Katie spills to Bill? Katie may tell Bill what Ridge Forrester, Torsten K., did to Eric, and we could have Bill saying, you know what? Screw that. We should set up a Spencer fashion house in Crush Ridge and Crush Forrester Creations. And he may offer to invest in Eric's future. The air is thick with the scent of lilies and the bittersweet echo of wedding vows as Hope Logan and Liam Spencer, the star-crossed duo affectionately known as Lope, once again seal their fate on the Bold and the Beautiful. But wipe away those celebratory tears, because even as the reception toasts the couple's fourth, and hopefully final, trip down the aisle, a melancholy truth hangs over their future. This picture of perfect bliss is a fragile illusion, poised to shatter under the weight of massive post-wedding plans that promise a new beginning and a heartbreaking new challenge. The today very sad news is not an immediate disaster, but the terrible inevitability of what comes next. The very plans meant to solidify their happily ever after, a new home, a new life, and the promise of a baby bombshell, are the dramatic building blocks that will ensure this hard-won peace is only temporary. This is a soap opera, after all, and the show's history guarantees that an intense future of steamy romance will be intrinsically linked to a new wave of turmoil. A fresh start in a new home, leaving the Logan nest. The first major post-wedding plan is simple yet profoundly symbolic. Hope and Liam need a real home. For too long, their love story has been literally confined to Brooke Logan's estate, dwelling in the cramped cabin that feels more like an overgrown childhood playhouse than a grown-up family home. While cute, it anchors them to the past, to the constant meddling of matriarchs, and to the ever-present drama of the Forrester-Logan orbit. Sources suggest that getting a proper house is at the very top of their list. This is a necessary, grown-up step that signifies a genuine break from their tumultuous history. Leaving Brooke's property would be a visual commitment to their maturity, signaling to fans, and to themselves, that they are finally ready to stand on their own. However, the sad news here lies in the subtext. A new home is a financial, logistical, and emotional stressor, a massive undertaking that distracts them from the very fragile connection they've just rekindled. A new house requires time, focus, and a united front. Will the inevitable real estate chaos expose the cracks they've papered over, especially with Liam's notorious tendency to worry and Hope's recent, dramatic journey of self-discovery? The change of scenery promises stability, but the journey to get there is a perilous path for this famously volatile couple. The baby bombshell, a life-affirming, yet perilous, expansion. The most high-stakes, high-engagement plan on Lope's horizon is the inevitable baby bombshell. Hope and Liam are young, deeply in love, and have a beautiful family that includes their daughter Beth, Liam's daughter Kelly, and Hope's adopted son, Douglas. However, talk is already swirling that the couple will actively try to expand their family, wanting a life-affirming symbol of their renewed commitment. This possibility is made even more poignant by the real-life journey of actress Annika Noel, Hope Logan, whose personal desire to have a child could potentially be written into the storyline. A new baby would be the ultimate symbol of a fresh start, a beautiful, innocent life to cement their future and wash away the memories of Thomas's manipulation, Liam's waffling, and Hope's recent affair. The steamy future ahead, the path to this baby bombshell, the steamy future, will be filled with intense, passionate moments as they try to conceive. This is the high-engagement content fans crave, a devoted, intimate side of Lope rarely seen when they are mired in triangles and betrayals. The sad news, yet, for a soap opera, a baby is a ticking time bomb. It brings joy, yes, but it also brings high-stakes drama. Will there be complications with the pregnancy? Will a former flame, like Thomas, return to Los Angeles and exploit Hope's vulnerability as a new mother? Most tragically, the arrival of a new child often shifts Liam's focus, bringing back the very anxiety and waffling tendency that led to their breakups in the first place. The baby is meant to secure their marriage, but it is often the catalyst for the next dramatic collapse. Reclaiming Douglas, a threat from Paris. A more subtle, but equally dangerous, post-wedding plan centers around Douglas Forrester. While the young boy made a triumphant return to officiate the wedding, a sweet nod to their history, he is still living in Paris with his father, Thomas. Now that Hope and Liam are settled, Hope may push to have Douglas back in Los Angeles, at least part-time. Hope's maternal heart, Hope fiercely loves Douglas. The thought of raising her son alongside Beth and Kelly in their new family home is a powerful motivator. Reintegrating Douglas is a crucial step in fulfilling the vision of their complete family. The heartbreak, this move immediately and dramatically reintroduces Thomas Forrester into the Lope orbit. Thomas, who has been quietly healing in Paris, will not simply hand his son back without a fight. The moment Hope asks for more time with Douglas, it will force Thomas to return, potentially leading to a new custody battle that forces Liam to confront his deepest insecurities about Thomas's lingering connection to Hope. The very child that brought them together may be the one who drives the sharpest wedge between them, leading to a profound sense of sadness for the whole family. The inevitable external conflict, the Logan-Forrester feud. Lope's biggest challenge won't just come from their internal dynamics, but from the escalating family war around them. The celebratory mood of the wedding is already juxtaposed with the intense, unresolved drama of Eric Forrester's forced retirement and Ridge's control over Forrester Creations. The post-wedding future will see Hope and Liam dragged into this family feud. With Eric determined to start a rival fashion house and the fate of Hope for the future constantly in question, Lope will be forced to choose sides. This kind of intense professional pressure and family loyalty split is an undeniable source of future sadness. Will Hope's devotion to her brand and her family drag Liam into a conflict that threatens his relationship with his own brother, Wyatt, who is still tied to the Spencer and Forrester empires? The lasting sadness, is this marriage doomed to fail? Ultimately, the very sad news that hangs over Hope and Liam's incredibly moving wedding is the overwhelming precedent of their past. This is their fourth legal wedding. As the actors themselves admitted in recent interviews, while they are hopeful, they know the nature of a soap opera. Scott Clifton, Liam, and Annika Noel, Hope, shared emotional sentiments about this union feeling different, more mature, and truly a tribute to their history. Yet, as Noel wisely said, at the same time, this is a soap opera, so, well, light a candle and say a prayer. The sadness lies in knowing that these beautiful, bold plans, the new home, the quest for a baby, the desire for a complete family, are simply the next great chapter that will inevitably lead to their next great fall. The high engagement, steamy future that fans are currently celebrating is the dramatic tension that must be resolved. The Bold and the Beautiful has given Hope and Liam a fresh start, but the scripts are already being written for the heartbreak that will follow. Will Lope finally break the cycle and find the lasting happiness they are planning for, or will the baby Bombshell and the pressures of their new life set the stage for the most devastating breakup settled? The vows have been exchanged for the fourth, or is it ninth, time, and Hope Logan and Liam Spencer are officially, legally, and irrevocably husband and wife once more. On the surface, the event that unfolded on The Bold and the Beautiful this week, a sweet, intimate ceremony officiated by their own daughter, Beth, was a picture of domestic bliss, a celebration of a family reunited after unimaginable heartache. But for the legions of devoted viewers, the news of Lope's latest union is not a cause for pure celebration. It is, in fact, today's very sad news. The sadness doesn't stem from the typical soap opera drama, no crashing ex-lovers, well, almost, Sheila was warned off, no explosive revelations, and no last-minute walkouts. The profound sadness of this wedding is the crushing weight of history, the inescapable feeling that we are watching a beautiful, beloved couple step, yet again, into a pre-written tragedy. This isn't a fresh start, it's a rewind. The siren song of the status quo. Hope, Annika Noel, and Liam, Scott Clifton, are the quintessential star-crossed lovers of the current Bold and the Beautiful generation. Their relationship has been defined by a constant, agonizing loop, a dramatic declaration of love, a beautiful wedding, a moment of profound crisis, usually involving Steffi and or Thomas, a swift divorce, and then the inevitable, tearful return to one another. Each time they remarry, we lose a little more of the genuine hope we hold for them, replaced by a weary resignation. This wedding follows perhaps the most convoluted path back yet, Hope's emotional turmoil over her feelings for Thomas, followed by a sudden split, and then Liam's completely fabricated brain tumor scare. While the emotional fallout of thinking she was losing Liam finally convinced Hope to let go of her complex feelings for the troubled Forester designer and run back to her Waffle King, it felt less like a genuine evolution of their love and more like the writers hitting a hard reset button. This is the core sadness, the narrative failure to move forward. The Bold and the Beautiful machine seems intent on keeping Hope and Liam in a perpetual cycle of courtship and crisis, preventing any real, lasting growth for either character. They are fundamentally incapable of remaining happily married for more than a few months of airtime, which means this happy day is merely the calm before the next catastrophic storm. The ghost of unlived potential. The tragedy of Lope is the lost potential of Hope Logan. Annika Noel has masterfully portrayed a woman trying to find her own identity and to find love outside of the shadow of her mother, Brooke. When Hope was exploring her complicated, yet ultimately healthy, bond with Thomas and finding agency and confidence in her career and personal life, she was a dynamic, fascinating character. Her relationship with Liam, however, often reduces her to a woman perpetually seeking validation and reassurance, eternally tethered to a man whose heart has always been tragically split between her and Steffi. Liam's tearful vows about how Hope makes him want to be a better man ring hollow because, historically, he has never actually been a better man for long. The moment a new crisis emerges, Liam's gaze inevitably drifts, and Hope is left heartbroken on the sidelines. Watching Hope, a woman with so much promise, settle for a relationship that is statistically certain to crumble is a deep, frustrating sadness for the viewer. It's the moment the bright, independent heroine steps back into the predictable comfort and subsequent pain of the familiar. The family that officiates the breakup. In a genuinely sweet and touching creative choice, the ceremony was officiated by Hope and Liam's daughter, Beth, with Douglas and Kelly also participating. While visually charming, this detail adds a heartbreaking layer to the sadness. The innocence of the officiant, little Beth's pure joy in pronouncing her parents husband and wife, is a poignant reminder of what is at stake. These children have lived through their parents' divorces and reconciliations. They are the true, innocent victims of the Lope instability. Every time they are brought together, the eventual breakup will hurt them exponentially more. The weight of witnesses, the guests, Deacon beaming, Brooke thrilled, Bill welcoming Hope back, all spoke about this union as a permanent, rightful family reunion. Yet, everyone in the room, and every viewer at home, knows that this promise is fragile, a momentary truce in a decades-long war for Liam's heart. Their applause is less a cheer for happily ever after and more a collective sigh of, here we go again. The clock is already ticking. The high engagement, sad news is that this wedding is the zenith, and the dramatic descent is already being set in motion. Soap opera history dictates that happiness is temporary, and stability is a plot killer. Now that Hope and Liam are officially married, the narrative must introduce the conflict that will tear them apart, and it will likely be something devastating. Will it be Thomas's triumphant return from Paris, finding a more mature, independent Hope who no longer needs Liam? Will it be another crisis that pushes Liam directly into Steffi's arms? Or, perhaps most tragically, will it be the realization by Hope herself that she settled for the man who is right for her family, instead of the man who challenges her to be herself? The sadness of Hope and Liam's wedding is the profound realization that the most loving, intimate, and family-focused weddings are the most precarious on the bold and the beautiful. They are not the end of a struggle, but merely the start of the next, all too familiar one. We celebrate their love with one eye closed, bracing for the inevitable heartbreak that is sure to follow. The adios were whispered, but the goodbyes are already echoing in the distance. A fresh start shattered, Hope and Liam's heartbreaking reality on the bold and the beautiful house with garden. The iconic setting of Forrester Creations, usually a hub of high-fashion drama and sizzling romance, has recently been overshadowed by a devastating cloud of sorrow. For fans of the bold and the beautiful, B&B, the coupling of Hope Logan and Liam Spencer, a pair whose journey has been a relentless, often agonizing, dance between destiny and disaster, has long been the emotional anchor of the show. Their bond, forged through shared triumphs, devastating losses, and the ever-present shadow of other lovers, seemed to have finally found its firm footing. Yet, today's news has ripped that assumed stability to shreds, leaving a wound that feels raw and impossibly deep. The future Hope and Liam desperately needed, one built around the simple, vital concept of home, is now tragically uncertain. The phrase "a fresh start" has always been loaded for Lope. It implies burying the countless indiscretions, the waffling, the emotional exhaustion caused by the pull of Steffi, and the constant threat of Thomas's obsessive love. Their recent, hard-won decision to prioritize their family unit, Hope, Liam, Beth, and Douglas, over all the external noise was more than just a plot point, it was a promise. It was an acknowledgement that for their love to survive, it needed a sanctuary, a literal and metaphorical home where boundaries were respected, and their commitment was non-negotiable. This is why today's news feels so profoundly sad. It's not just another breakup, it's the crushing defeat of a genuine attempt at lasting happiness. The writers, in their infinite capacity to inflict emotional pain, have seemingly pulled the rug out from under the most fundamental need of any stable family, a secure, undivided, and joyful domestic life. The home that never was, a pillar crumbles. The storyline was clear: for Lope to thrive, they needed to distance themselves from the constant, claustrophobic love triangle at the Forrester and Spencer estates. They needed their own space. This pursuit of a new home, a fresh canvas for their future, was the symbolic heart of their fresh start. Liam, finally focusing his laser beam intensity on Hope, and Hope, determined to shed the emotional baggage of her complicated past with Thomas, were seen house hunting, dreaming, and planning. These moments, brief as they were, offered viewers a tantalizing glimpse of stability, cozy nights, untraumatized children, and a life where their biggest problem was choosing paint colors, not which woman Liam would wake up next to. The news that this dream has stalled, or, perhaps more accurately, been devastated by a wholly unexpected, external factor, is a punch to the gut. While the specifics are still emerging, hints suggest a financial catastrophe, a legal entanglement, or an unforeseen interference that has made the purchase or construction of their planned sanctuary impossible. Imagine the scene: Hope, the ever-optimistic Logan, her face falling as Liam reads the final, crushing email. The vision of Beth's new room, Douglas's treehouse, and their shared, unburdened bedroom fades into the cold reality of shared custody papers and separate lives. This isn't drama, it's tragedy. It takes the wind out of the sails of every fan who rooted for them, every viewer who believed that this time, they had finally learned their lesson. The inevitable fallout: who gets the blame? In the intricate, circular logic of B&B, an event of this magnitude never exists in a vacuum. It immediately raises the specter of their perennial obstacles. Thomas Forrester: the first question on every fan's mind is, did Thomas have a hand in this? His obsessive drive to be with Hope, often masked as concern for Douglas, is the emotional poison perpetually dripping into Lope's cup. Could he have subtly sabotaged the house deal? The narrative potential for Thomas to emerge as the savior, offering Hope a place in the Forrester mansion, and closer to him, is terrifyingly high. This would instantly negate Hope's emotional growth and trap her back in the cycle she fought so hard to escape. Steffi Forrester Finnegan. While Steffi is happily married to Finn, the shadow of her history with Liam is long. This crisis forces Liam and Hope to remain close to their respective exes, Liam near Steffi, because of Kelly, and Hope near Thomas, because of Douglas. The lack of a shared, independent home makes the emotional tether to Steffi exponentially stronger, forcing Lope to constantly operate in her orbit. The pain here is structural, the geography of their lives defeats their commitment. The Logan and Spencer clans, the extended families, often the biggest meddlers, will undoubtedly offer help, which will only lead to more control and less independence. Brooke and Ridge will argue, Bill will attempt to buy a quick fix, likely with strings attached. The crisis of the home will inevitably fracture the larger Forrester/Logan dynamic, adding layers of complication to an already devastating situation. Hope's crossroads, retreat or rebellion? For Hope, this setback is more than just a disappointment, it's an existential crisis. She has repeatedly demonstrated her deepest need is for stability and family. The failure of the Fresh Start home might lead her to one of two equally painful paths. The retreat, she could, in her classic sacrificing style, conclude that her love for Liam is simply too disruptive to his co-parenting life with Steffi. She might retreat, pushing Liam back toward his ex-wife out of misguided nobility. This is the Lope dynamic fans dread the most, the noble but ultimately devastating sacrifice. The rebellion, and the t-shirt alternatively, this final betrayal of Hope could push her completely off the rails and, perhaps, closer to Thomas. The theory here is, if I can't have stability with the man I should be with, Liam, perhaps I will explore the passionate, dramatic, albeit dysfunctional, love with the man who worships me, Thomas. This turn would signal the end of Lope for the foreseeable future and provide the explosive drama BNB thrives on. The must for home, a universal truth. Ultimately, the reason this news resonates with such profound sadness isn't just because we love Lope. It's because the need for home is a universal human desire. It is the safe harbor, the place where the world's harshness ends and unconditional love begins. By denying Hope and Liam that fundamental necessity, the show has not just broken up a couple, it has denied them the chance to build a normal, functional, healthy family. This storyline is a masterclass in high-engagement writing because it targets the viewer's deepest anxieties about security and permanence. It's a gut-wrenching reminder that in the dramatic world of soaps, and often in real life, a true fresh start isn't guaranteed just because you wish for it. It takes more than love, it takes a foundation. And for Hope and Liam, that foundation has just crumbled, leaving them exposed to the elements, their children asking, Mommy, Daddy, where are we going to live? The silence in the face of that question is the loudest, saddest news of the day. The immediate future looks bleak. The Fresh Start sign has been crumpled and tossed aside, replaced by the bitter, hard reality of divided lives and shared custody. The fight is no longer for love, but for a roof over their children's heads, a fight that might ultimately tear them apart for good.